Thank you so much. Yes. Yeah. So, can anyone tell me regarding Make in India?
Yeah, as I was saying that it is an initiative by the government so that the requirement of the domestic people can be fulfilled. Basically, it's something related to production and manufacturing, so that all the requirement of goods is fulfilled by our country itself, and it helps in promoting local entrepreneurs, startups, and helps
Yeah.
in creating a lot of job opportunities and helping economy.
Yeah. The main motto of Make in India to make our India manufacturing capital. If you
Yep.
know, whenever the topic that is asked, you should always start from China. China is the manufacturing
Mm-hmm.
hub of the world, right? And India is planning through our global trade to become a hub for manufacturing as well as exports. We are doing it in terms of export, but when it comes to manufacturing, we need almost 2047 to become a leader in it, right? Then you can also talk about trade, right? And in international trade, India is putting a lot of exports when it comes to agriculture, rice, basmati rice, spices, tea. The tea from Assam, Kodai Canal has a lot of demand in the market, right? Then you can also mention regarding Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, right? Where we are self-reliant when it comes to various products, right? Due to Atmanirbhar Bharat, India has increased FDI investment of $57 billion. It has reached from $4 billion to $56 billion just because of one initiative which is taken by our most promisable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Right? These are the pros of it. When it comes to con, can anyone tell me the con of India's performance in international trade? Let me give you a hint. China.
Yeah, we have a very big trade deficit with China. They have a really good infrastructure in regards to uh, manufacturing part. There is a lot of liberty. We have a quite hectic process. If
Yeah.
someone wants to start his own business or he wants to set up an factory or a manufacturing point.
Yeah, so Abhishek, I'll let you know. So when it comes to trade, and if you are looking for Chinese, Taiwanese, all the countries which was just closer to China, all these countries have worse relationship with the China when it comes to
Mm.
imports and exports because the labor cost in China is very less,
Yes.
and they have one of the best production quality when it comes to technology, when it
Mm.
comes to manufacturing, operation, supply chain, the Belt and Road Initiative, which is made by Chinese exports, it is connecting to the world. And all this Belt and Road Initiative has control by China. So you can mention this point. Then global recession, which has happened, right? In 2008, in 2021 to 2022. Global recession has literally affected a lot when it comes to India's international trade, right? When 2008, the recession has happened and the world banks has been collapsed. India's economy went into drastically. This was the first time where India has faced lots of issues when it comes to financial situation, right? We need to take IMF loan, right? So we can talk this point during this GD. When now India is pushing a lot when it comes to semiconductors. The company that I'm going to join, I'll name that company SCL Tech, right? So SCL Tech has merged with TSMC. TSMC is one of the best company when it comes to some semiconductors. So TSMC is partnering with Foxconn in India build semiconductor chip, right? India is so much dependent on foreign investment when it comes to Chinese, Taipei. So when it comes to international trade, we are building out our own economy. We are going to push ourselves to international trade to become a manufacturing hub of the world or
Mm.
Southeast Asia. Then most of the automobile industry, which is present in Germany, how India is putting and what is the India's present when it comes to international trade, right? So India, there are 7 to 8 factories which are present in Chennai, Bangalore, Kolkata, as well as the southern part of the country, right? So we are building the parts, we are manufacturing the parts. You can mention all these things. Then IT consulting. All these people is the most part of India's export goes to IT and consulting, right? TCS
Mm.
consulting services, Cognizant consulting services, then HCL consulting, Capgemini, Axis. All these consulting services are profitable. They see we don't have our own IT services. So what we do, we provide services to the clients. whatever clients as well as the banks who are present globally, TCS is handling the back end operations of it. That is one of the biggest export of India, right? So, can anyone tell me one of the issue that comes to the global trade operation in India, like how, let's say, in USA, the dollar price is 100 rupees as
Mm.
compared to 1 rupee. Now, if they have made that dollar price is 105 rupees, right? Of course, it will gonna affect our economy. Why it is
Mm.
happening? Why the price of dollar is increasing day by day? It is happening just because of the global trade operations, right? There's a lot of currency fluctuation that happens, and due to that currency fluctuation, we are facing a lot of issues in terms of global trade, right? Then one of the important part that we export as well as import is oil and gas. Adani
Mm.
ports, Reliance Consumer, right? Aditya Birla, they have their own gas plants, oil plants, Reliance oil and gas natural plant, which is present in Vadodara, right? So you can mention this thing. Then when it comes to international trade, which I mentioned, textile was one of the biggest part, right? So
Mm.
when it comes to MSME, micro, small, and medium, this MSME are become self-reliant. So the businesses which are present in MSME from the lower part of the country, the bottom pyramid of the table, they are sending to Europe. So उसके उससे वजह से भी we are getting lot of trade, right? Now we'll talk about India. What government is doing when it comes to India's trade in global operations? First thing is government is giving a lot of incentives, right? Our government has given almost $300 million. Central government has given $11 billion fund to improve the smooth operation when it comes to Indian international trade, right? Another thing is World Trade Organization, right? So we have a lot of permissions when it comes to World Trade Organization, and we follow World Trade Organization norms and rules. You can also mention this thing during the GD, right? Now, in terms of India, right? E-commerce plays a very important role, right? Can you name any e-commerce platforms?
Yeah, Amazon, Flipkart.
Flipkart,
Amazon,
Mintra.
Flipkart, Snapdeal, Myntra, right? These are
Mm.
also helping and fostering the India's local trade, right? Almost every day, 15,000 applications are sold out within 5 to 10 minutes on any platform just because
Mm.
of the e-commerce trade that we have in India. But if you're talking about the con of it, competition,
Yeah.
we are not able to compete with the other countries because cheap labor, cheap operations, cheap cost, cheap logistics, we can't afford it,
Mm.
right? And as the global trade, see, there are only three countries who have strong trade operations. All the infrastructure, logistic structure that is available in only three countries: Russia, China, USA.
Yes.
That's why we have to do regional trades with Bangladesh, Pakistan, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, right? So these are the 10 to 15 pointers that you need to speak it out during GD, right? Last second topic is role of media in shaping public opinion, right? So guys, you might have seen Arnab Goswami, right? He has his
Mm.
own channel. He almost earned 30,000 to 40,000 crore rupees in 5 years through his own channel. He influences a lot just because of the power of media, right?
Mm.
Whenever this topic comes to you, media is the fourth pillar of India's economy, right?
Yeah.
Whenever there was a discussion happening in terms of elections, media plays a very important role when it comes to news coverage, debate, elections, right?
Correct.
A guy who is born, the first thing or first 4 or 5 things that he learns or captures is digital media through this the advent of AI, internet, right? It has definitely changed the person of how we consume news. है ना जैसे सोशल मीडिया है सोशल मीडिया is a boon and bane. It
Yeah.
can amplify facts. It can also amplify misinformation. You might have seen WhatsApp University,
Mm.
right? WhatsApp University is also part of media. You can mention this in con of it. right? Now media, the topic is media का role कैसे play करेगा when it comes to public opinion, right? There are a lot of journalists which are present in India. They expose corruption, the wrongdoings, right? I'll tell you example of Maharashtra, 70,000 crore Ghudala which was happened in 2014. The whole assembly was burnt out. Who was the main person uh, who has erupted and who has opened that Ghudala? There was one media guy, right? Due to the investigation that the person has did, he was responsible to expose that 7,000 crore Ghudala. You can
Mm.
mention it. See, when you use data, fact, figure, numbers during this GD, you will be stand out of the crowd, right?
Mm.
Then, can anyone tell me the concept of sensationalism?
Mm.
I'll ask Utkarsh. This is not this point. Utkarsh, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes. Or do you have you heard of the concept sensationalism? Right? So सेंसेशनलिज्म क्या होता है मैं बताता हूँ, ठीक है? अगर आपको मीडिया की कौन सी भी इंफॉर्मेशन, जैसे पॉलिटिक्स करती है, बीजेपी करती है, ऐसे बोलना नहीं चाहिए, बट दे मिसलीड अ लॉट ऑफ पब्लिक परसेप्शन which is called sensationalism. When it comes to media, bias reporting also comes into the picture, right? When a media guy is saying positives as well as biased thing, right? It will definitely affect your opinion. Media is one of the biggest tool which is used by governments in India, especially as a tool to change the public opinion, to make a propaganda, right? Adani क्या करता है? He has his own channels, right? Media channels. He promotes his business. He manipulates the people's mind. You can mention it, right? And you might have seen in media, fake news spreads a lot as compared to verified news, right? There are people, there are critic who are gonna look for you, right? So whenever you ask regarding the media, the importance of media, always talk about freedom, right? Freedom is one of the biggest aspect of Indian democracy, right? You can also mention regarding journalism, right? Journalism is the fifth pillar of media, which provides fact, figure, factual information, right? आपने स्टॉक मार्केट देखा होगा. Whenever media influences some decision, of course, on let's say they are giving in some information regarding stock market कोलैप्स हो जाता है. आप स्टॉक मार्केट को चैनल भी देते होंगे जिसमें मीडिया के थ्रू लोग आते, बताते कि स्टॉक मार्केट में ये होगा वो होगा, राइट? Talk about how financial information, financial news can be manipulated through media. But positives में बताऊंगा. India is at the last stage of public health of awareness. If media took the right steps, India can become number one country when it comes to public health. Right actions. There are some social media channels as well as media channels who talk about social issues, social behavior, social attitude of people, right? Why Gandhiji had told that we should go to villages as compared to urban cities. There was no media, but there was word of mouth, right? So your word has a lot of power in the world. Then you can, so whenever this situation happens in media where your public opinion can be censored, Kangana Ranaut example, right? Just because the media has power, they have censored Kangana Ranaut, right? They had put a lot of pressure on freedom of speech. You can also talk about it. Now we are youth, right? So media affects our life, our youth, our perception. At the age of where we need to do innovation, we need to do changes in life. If media has made a wrong perception, it will definitely affect our life, right? Media also plays a very important role when it comes to crisis. Let me tell you an example of Uttarakhand. When the crisis has happened in Uttarakhand, media was the first person who was given live information to the people and to the world. Whenever this election happens, and there was a Kool-Aid happened in Bihar, Champaran. Media was the first one who handled that crisis, right? Whenever there's a real accident happens, all we got information through his media. But whenever you're asked regarding your how media shapes the public perception, I'll tell you first point. Ethical responsibility of journalism is very important. If you're talking about any point ethically, if you are giving any information ethically, as a responsible manager, आप MBA करोगे, you have to be responsible manager, right? You have to always follow the ethics. If someone is bribing you and telling you that, sir, please tell me in organization because you are a manager, you should not do it. You should always work towards ethics. Then media also plays a very important role when it comes to literacy rate, right? If the media do the right justice to the people to find the difference between fake as well as real news, I believe we will be at topmost position whenever we are working in an environment where we have to make impact on society. Understood, Abhishek, Utkarsh, Ayush, Jason?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Jason, are you
Yes.
there? Okay.
Yes.
The last topic is COVID-19 on businesses. Okay. COVID-19, I think it is one of the burning topic, right? It had literally caught up small scale businesses. They were coming into the lashes of financial loss, right? All the operations, let's say I was working in IT. I used to go to office every day. But due to COVID-19, the business of Cognizant shut down. And we are all told to do the remote work, right? To understand the remote operation of our business. And I used to work down from my home and I used to handle the whole bank of the world by doing and by working remotely. You can mention this thing while in GD. I'll talk about e-commerce and online shopping, right? So due to COVID-19, there has been a lot of boom when it comes to e-commerce and online shopping. Let me talk about e-commerce, right? E-commerce before COVID, people used to handle it, people used to buy it, and the rate was 15 to 20%. But after the COVID-19, it has increased up to 35%. Now it has reached up to 53% due to COVID-19, due to the online options that we are available. One touch solutions are available, right? Then one of the biggest impact that COVID-19 had made is travel and tourism industry. We had lost $53 billion due to COVID-19, and that was the biggest loss that has happened in the whole Indian history when it comes to travel and tourism. Right? The global supply chain has been disrupted. If you don't have money in FDA, people won't come to visit India. If the people won't come to visit India, it will affect the Indian businesses. That's a cycle. So now I'll talk about the healthcare domain, right? So after the COVID-19, healthcare industry was one of the biggest industry. And if you do an MBA, you will see a lot of jobs are coming when it comes to technical healthcare or healthcare consulting. Why? Because people realize that healthcare is the one of the biggest boon, and that this is the only part who can save us. I'll talk about IT because it is one of my strongest point, right? After COVID-19, most of the businesses has shifted to digital transformation, AI transformation, cloud transformation. Even in industry, they are implementing ERP system, enterprise resource planning software, right? That one software handles the whole business operations. Why? Just because of COVID-19. Now, if you're talking about travel and tourism industry, we should talk about restaurant and hospitality industry, right? They are working with different protocols after the COVID-19. Initially, there were not protocols, but our government has pushed a lot of efforts when it comes to making this protocol. Talk about it. Now, whenever you are asked regarding how COVID-19 impacted businesses, government plays a very important role, I believe. Government has given a lot of relief to the people. They soar out $54 billion to the businesses who are struggling a lot. The textile industry. It took almost 3 to 4 years for the textile industry to come out of that business zone. Right? Stock market. Stock market was one of the biggest drop down, and it had drastically collapsed during this COVID-19. If you are ever seen stock market right now, it is still collapsing. I believe it will take 5 to 6 years. So you can also mention the example of stock market. Then another point that comes to my mind is economy. So Jason, what is gig economy?
I'm not aware.
Okay, freelancing, contract work. Have you heard this concept? Zomato, Swiggy, what they work on the model.
Okay, freelancing, I know.
Okay,
Yeah,
it is also part of gig working. Gig working means
okay.
क्या होता है? You are able to do the task according to your own consent, your own availabilities. It is not a fixed full-time job. Let's say I'm a
Oh,
Zomato worker. मैं मेरे मन से I'm doing my work and I'm getting paid for it. So I'm part of gig worker. Zomato has the biggest gig workers in India, right? And just because of the COVID-19, gig economy has expanded drastically. Zomato के share डायरेक्ट 58 से 131 गया after COVID-19. You can give an example of gig economy whenever this topic is asked to you, right? But COVID-19 also affected the life of human. We had so used to this situation during the COVID-19, but once we came out of that COVID-19, we faced challenges in terms of health in various domains, right? You can mention regarding it. After the COVID-19, automation, AI, next gen AI, deep learning, machine learning, every business is implementing AI. Why? Because they realize that अगर एक कोई काम कर रहा है and if you want to put person to do the task, why not to use AI? Why not to use AI for calling out? If we are spending 1 lakh rupees to do the calling when it comes to global calling operations, then if we put AI there, we'll be able to do the whole task in 50,000 rupees. अभी interviews भी online हो रहे. AI robot is taking your interview, right? The demand for automation, AI, increased a lot after the COVID-19. Another impact that COVID-19 has created is real estate, right? Real estate price has increased a lot because remote work shifted to physical work. Understood, guys? Right? Now, one of the important aspect I would say is मेरा खुद का business था. So I need to diversify my business because I realized if I stay on only one business, I can't do it. My business will shut down at any time. This has happened with many businesses. Recently, SUL has merged with one of the biggest healthcare brand, which is Minimalist. Have you heard the news?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Why they have diversified their production? Why they have merged? Because health, HUL realized that if we diversify, they will definitely save in the future, right? Then EdTech platform. Right now, we are also product of EdTech, right? There is a lot of demand when it comes to EdTech platform. We got yeah, the influencer like me. I got a lot of rapid growth just because of this COVID-19, right? People's consumer habit has changed a lot, right? India used to India is always considered as a spending not spending free country now, but after the COVID-19, we have spent almost $33 billion in Indian economy. Investor का भी money उसमें add हो गया है. So spending habit literally changed a lot after after this COVID-19, right? Post that, last point that comes to my mind is global trade operations, right? So due to COVID-19, most of the countries, अभी यूएसए अभी वही कर रहा है और रिस्ट्रिक्शन डाल रहा है हर कंट्री में. Why? Because they realize that they can become a self-reliant country. Most of the countries that realize after thousands of years that they can become a self-reliant country. They are putting restriction on other countries. And this is also byproduct of COVID-19. So these are the points you should mention it. while GD. Understood, guys? Ayush, Abhishek, Utkarsh, Jason?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, almost GD topics are done, right? Now I'll take these topics, right? Just give me 1 minute. I'll ask the remaining people to join us. So these are the very important topics. GD तो मैं रिपीट करवा दूंगा, लेकिन वैट के लिए कुछ रूल्स है, ठीक है? वो तो मैं नहीं करवा सकता हूँ. Just a second. Up, Utkarsh or Ayush, can you put a message on the group that can you join to the meet?
Sure. Yes. Do Welingkar have VAT?
Yes, Welingkar Group.
I'm asking that do Welingkar have written ability test?
No, see, Welingkar last year is to have readability test, but this year they don't have readability test. But the topics that are there, these are the same topics which will be come to you during GD.
Okay, okay.
Understood?
Yes.
So these are the topics which are asked in Welingkar Cycle 1. Right? But I put it as VAT. Right? First question is, how do you define leadership and what are the key qualities? Right? What is leadership? Can anyone tell? Jason, explain me what is leadership.
Leadership is taking charge of your team and driving results.
Okay. So I'll tell you. Leadership is one of the ability to guide, motivate, and inspire to achieve your goal. I'm a leader. My main job is to guide you. My main job is to inspire you and tell you that this is what your future, this is what you need to follow it. As a leader, as a manager, you should have a strong vision. This vision will be very handy for you whenever you are setting any objective or whenever you are doing any project in corporate. Some of the important skills as a leader is communication. If you are able to communicate very well, and if your message delivery is reaching to the people whom you are surrounding, then you can be considered as biggest leader. Decision making. Why Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai are strongest decision makers in the world? Because whenever there's a situation happens, whenever there's a challenge happens, जब Google आया था, Google faced lot of challenges in terms of Google Home, in terms of AI, वो handle नहीं कर पाए, right? So the leadership skill of Fraser Magag leadership skill of Satyam Nadella and Sundar Pichai always helped out. जब आप लीडर बनोगे, जब आप मैनेजर बनोगे in corporate, there will be a lot of challenges that will come to you. Your decision making will be the important aspect. Whatever decision that you're gonna make, it will impact on the people whom you are surrounding. Right? Talk about another aspect of leadership is emotional intelligence. Right? अगर आप इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस दिखाओगे तो टीम का मोरल बढ़ेगा. राइट? आप फौज देखोगे, राइट? जब भी फौज वर्क करती है, दे आर अवे फ्रॉम देयर फैमिली. जब उनका लीडर होता है ना, he has to understand the emotional intelligence of person, right? So whenever we are working in corporate, you have to be empathetic, right? Most of the leaders are adaptive to each and every situation, right? अगर आप मैनेजर बन गए, if you are reaching at the topmost position, let's say MD position पे, of course you will switch organization, you will work with different companies, तभी आप top position पे पहुंचोगे. Adaptability plays a very important role, right? As a leader, if I'm putting myself the no notion of leader, right? So I should have a strong trust between my students and me, right? And the trust will be very handy because agar if I'm not having trust with you, आप मुझे गाली दोगे? So integrity and trust is very important as a leader. Leader should be accountable for each and every task that is given to them, right? Why MS Dhoni is called accountable leader? Because whenever this challenge comes to him, he takes the accountability of each and every work, right? One of the biggest aspect that leaders should have is confidence. That confidence will gain him followers, right? Leaders have followers, manager don't have followers. Remember, right? The basic thing that every leader should have is problem solving, right? Whenever there's a problem that is given to you, You should be responsible for solving any problem that comes to your mind, right? लीडर आप कौन से भी इंडस्ट्री में हो सकते हो, मार्केटिंग, फाइनेंस, ऑपरेशन, आईटी, हेल्थ केयर, ऑटोमोबाइल, बट आपको लॉन्ग वे में टिकना होगा, so you should have a strong resilience. So resilience is one of the aspect of leader, right? Empathy. Why Indra Novi is called empathetic leader? Can anyone give me hypothesis behind it? Jason, Ayush, Jason, are you there? I'll ask Abhishek.
Yes, I'm there.
Yes. Why Indra Novi is called empathetic leader?
I've not read much about this person.
Okay, I'll let you know. Because whenever she has to do collaboration with other people, she always shows her empathy. She knows people very well. She has a strong understanding regarding people management. That's why people called her one of the most empathetic leader in the world. As a leader, one of the basic aspects that you should have is innovation. Elon Musk is one of the innovative leader in the world because that innovation helps him to do the progress. That's why he built 3 businesses in the world: Tesla, SpaceX, Lunar, right? A lot of businesses just because of the strong innovation ability that he had. Strategic thinking is one of the important aspects of a leader. If you have a strategic thinker, if you have vision, you can go and you can achieve success in long term. One of the important aspects that leaders should have is they should motivate people. If I'm consider myself leader, I should have a strong ability to motivate you. And when I'm motivating you, you will take right actions. ऐसे बोला जाता है कि एमबीए इंडस्ट्री में आप सुनो, आप सीनियर से सुनो, आप जितने भी बंदे उनसे सुनो. एक्टिव लिसनिंग इज वन ऑफ द इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट ऑफ अ लीडर. जब आप कॉर्पोरेट में जाओगे, आप वेलिंकर में जाओगे, एसआरसीसी में जाओगे, देयर विल बी सम करियर एक्सेलरेशन सेशंस जहाँ इंडस्ट्री के एमडी, सीईओ, सीएमओ आएंगे, वो 1 1.5 घंटे का भाषण देंगे, तो आपको सुनना पड़ेगा, राइट? Another important aspect of leader is influence. They influence a large community of people, right? And leaders always lead from the front, lead by example, right? Always mention all these things. Second topic is data analytics, which is one of the important and interesting topic for me. Can anyone tell me what is data analytics? Abhishek,
Yes, sir.
what is data analytics?
Sir, analyzing the data and interpreting that the available whatever available data we have. So how what are the shortcomings from our end and how we can
Okay,
do
I'll
do
explain.
that in a better
Data
way.
analytics, data is the new oil in the world. Data analytics means understanding data of businesses, find out the pattern from it, and give the right direction, right output when it comes to each and every industry. Topic is how data analytics plays a very important role when it comes to businesses. First is decision making, right? डेटा हिस्टोरिकल डेटा आप लेके आप फोरकास्ट कर सकते हो कि फ्यूचर में क्या हो सकता है. जस्ट लेट मी गिव एग्जांपल ऑफ वेदर, राइट? जो वेदर का पास्ट डेटा लेते हो using various tools and technologies, you can influence decision making of the people. When it comes to the world of e-commerce, customers are the king, right? And data analytics is one of the biggest tool to understand the customer, target the customer, segment the customer, and we can launch our marketing campaign, right? So you can mention this topic. There's an important aspect of predictive analytics in data analytics. You learn from past data and you make prediction for the future data, right? This is used in various industries. Stock market, right? Stock market में past trend देख के future के prediction किए जाते. Now the people who wanted to get into supply chain operation management, right? So global supply chain, how global supply chain operated? They understand the past data and they tell them that from this port to that port, this much good will be served. Why this is happening? All happening this because of data. When it comes to finance, risk is one of the important aspect, right? Risk of any asset or anything in finance industry can be understood by using data. Now I'll come to banking and finance sector, right? There are a lot of frauds are happening. Chanda Kochar, who made the fraud in ICICI Bank, how that fraud come into the picture? Just because of the data which was saved into the system, right? So now I'll come to Netflix and Amazon. Whatever that Netflix, Amazon is giving, whatever recommendation they are giving us, they are coming with some algorithms, and then and these algorithms are changing the perception of you. आपको लगता है कि आज मैं रोमांटिक मूवी देख लूं, ठीक है, आप यूट्यूब पे सर्च करता हो तो अल्गोरिदम कैप्चर करता है, फिर वो अल्गोरिदम आपको लेके जाता है नेटफ्लिक्स पे, राइट? फिर नेटफ्लिक्स पे आप मूवी देखते हो, या आप मोबाइल में देखते हो कि बहुत टाइम आप एक ही रील देख रहे हो और उसी टाइप का कंटेंट आपको आ रहा है, फूड का कंटेंट देख रहे हो, फूड के यूट्यूब पे वही फूड का कंटेंट दिख रहा है, इंस्टाग्राम पे भी दिख रहा है, स्नैपचैट पे दिख रहा है. व्हाई इट इज हैपनिंग? Because the algorithm which are present in data analytics, they are capturing your consumer pattern, right? Then you can also talk about manufacturing industry. In manufacturing industry, most of the businesses are becoming automated. Why they are becoming automated? Because of the data, because of the AI driven insight that they are taking. कुछ साल पहले inventory was one of the biggest issue for the businesses. Now the concept of demand for forecasting. Demand forecasting means तुम्हें पहले समझ में आता है कि मुझे मेरे बिजनेसेस के लिए इतनी इतनी डिमांड आएगी. आपको ये समझ रहा है कैसे? जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ डेटा एनालिटिक्स, राइट? राइट नाउ अगर आपने बिजनेस ओपन किया, राइट, लेट्स से अभिषेक त्यागिया स्टार्टेड हिज बिजनेस एंड ही नीड टू एक्सपांड हिज बिजनेस. व्हाट ही गोना डू? ही विल डू द कॉम्पिटिटिव एनालिसिस. हाउ ही गोना डू द कॉम्पिटिटिव एनालिसिस? बाय यूजिंग डेटा एनालिटिक्स. सो आप मेंशन कर सकते हो डेटा एनालिटिक्स इज वन ऑफ द इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट व्हेन इट कम्स टू कॉम्पिटिटिव एनालिसिस. आप अपना बिजनेस ओपन कर रहे हो, आप प्राइस रखते हो. वाई मैंने मेरे कोर्स की प्राइस 1000 रुपए रखी? वाई आई एम द चीपेस्ट इन द मार्केट with the quality? Because I did competitive analysis and then I decided my price would be the dynamic price as compared to other people. I understood the data of competitors and I launched my own course, right? Then now healthcare domain पे आता हूँ, right? In healthcare industry, data analytics is very important. आप medical diagnosis जानना है आपको, data analytics के some tools है. Then there's a time series tool, वो बताता है कि what the person has to do, what the girl or woman has to do during the pregnancy season. These tools were not available earlier. Just because of AI and data, the advent of this AI and data, healthcare has changed a lot. A lot of jobs are created in healthcare domain just because of data analytics. Now I'll come to marketing. Why digital marketing has been a boom? Why digital marketing has grown a lot? Because a lot of data was available to us after the COVID-19. The digital marketing tools have increased a lot. Any tool which is working in the industry, why it is growing? It is just growing on the basis of data, right? Last two things is आपको आपका बिजनेस एक्सपांड करना है, आपको मार्केट जानना है, तो आप डेटा एनालिटिक्स यूज करते हो. HUL which is one of the best company when it comes to FMCG sector. HUL क्या करता है? Why HUL is the biggest company in India when it comes to FMCG? HUL डेटा एनालिटिक्स यूज करता है, कंज्यूमर का बिहेवियर जानता है, कस्टमर का पैटर्न जानता है, उसकी स्पेंडिंग पावर जानता है, उसको पता है कि ये बंदा 1000 रुपए खर्च कर सकता है, राइट? तो उसके अनुसार वो प्रोडक्ट बनाएगा, और वो बनाएगा कैसे? यूजिंग डेटा एनालिटिक्स, राइट? आप क्रिकेट मैच देखते हो, आपको विद इन सेकंड्स में आपको पता चलता है कि स्टेडियम में जो हो रहा है वो आपको स्कोर कार्ड में दिख रहा है, जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ डेटा एनालिटिक्स, राइट? लास्ट टॉपिक दैट विल टेक इज impact of COVID-19 on education and e-learning. Right now we are both are part of e-learning, right? Due to COVID-19 you guys are able to adapt to digital learning. आप ऑफलाइन जाते तो right now you are coming on online meeting just because of COVID-19. ऐसा नहीं कि आपके पास ऑप्शन नहीं है, बट टाइम सेव हो रहा है, कॉस्ट बच रही है. why not to Why you should not look for online digital tools? But कोविड-19 की वजह से पेन ऐसा है कि the youth, right? Youth is focusing a lot. They are dependent on online tools, right? So you can also mention that topic. But due to the digitalization of world after COVID-19, there has a divide that has made between urban India and rural India, right? अर्बन इंडिया रिच बनते जा रहा है, रूरल इंडिया पुअर बनते जा रहा है, क्योंकि आप टेक्नोलॉजी सीख गए तो यू आर कमिंग अंडर टॉप 7% ऑफ इंडिया. रूरल इंडिया को पता ही नहीं टेक्नोलॉजी कैसे यूज करनी है, बिकॉज दे डोंट हैव दैट मनी, राइट? सो गवर्नमेंट इज पुटिंग लॉट्स ऑफ एफर्ट्स टू decrease that digital divide that has made it between urban India and rural India. Due to COVID-19, it has made a lot of impact on teacher like me. मैं कैटकिंग में पढ़ाता हूँ, तो आई एम गेटिंग 2000 rupees per session. But if I'm doing the whole same sessions here, I'm paying less, but I'm okay because that literally changed my life. I have that freedom. All this freedom came to me just because of online media, right? Byju's, Unacademy, how this platform has uh, made a strong notion and strong market, right? इनकी डिमांड क्यों बढ़ गई है? Just because of COVID-19. COVID-19 की पहले नहीं था. Byju's, Unacademy, right? But बच्चों पे भी इसका बहुत बड़ा इफेक्ट गिर रहा है. A strong child is putting 6 to 8 hours on screen. It is affecting their life. Due to COVID-19, there has been a hybrid education models, right? आप घर से भी काम कर सकते हो, आप ऑफिस में जाके आप घर से भी सीख सकते हो, ऑफिस में भी जाके सीख सकते हो. यू कैन मेंशन दैट पॉइंट, राइट? बट इसका और एक फायदा हुआ है कि ग्लोबल एजुकेशन अच्छा बढ़ रहा है. अभी मुझे पता है कि हार्वर्ड में कैसे अप्लाई किया जाता है. इनिशियली दिस थिंग्स वेयर नॉट अवेलेबल. अभी मुझे पता है घर बैठ के कि आई एम अहमदाबाद में कैसे जाना है. आई गो टू ऑनलाइन टूल एंड चेक. बट इनिशियली क्या होता था, 2005 में एक मेल आता था. मेल के थ्रू आई एम अहमदाबाद का कन्वर्ट का मैसेज आता था कि आपका आई एम अहमदाबाद कन्वर्ट हो चुका है. 15 दिन लगते थे वो मेल आने के लिए. यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड हाउ COVID-19 has impacted edtech industry. Due to this online learning model, I am oblique to flexible model, right? मैं flexible काम कर रहा हूँ, मैं ऑफिस में भी कर सकता हूँ, घर से भी कर सकता हूँ, right? इसका अफेक्ट ये भी है, इसका कौन ये भी है कि पीयर टू पीयर लर्निंग बिगड़ चुकी है, राइट? पीयर टू पीयर लर्निंग अभी नहीं रही है. ऑनलाइन पीयर टू पीयर लर्निंग हैज इंक्रीज अलॉट. अब बिजनेसेस के पे कैसा अफेक्ट पड़ेगा? टेक 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 बिजनेसेस कैसे अफेक्ट करेगा? स्केलेबल करना है आपको कोई सा भी बिजनेस, राइट? तो आप स्केलेबल ऑनलाइन मीडिया के थ्रू बहुत ज्यादा कर सकते हो. कोविड-19 जैसे ही आ गया है, बिजनेस उसके पहले स्केलेबल नहीं थे. राइट नाउ थ्रू ऑनलाइन मीडिया यू आर एबल टू स्केल योर ओन बिजनेस, राइट? लास्ट थिंग इज affordability. If you do the same course of mine in Cat King with the same mentor, you have to pay 7,200 rupees. But you are getting the same course here in 1,000 rupees. So affordability is another important aspect. When it comes to HR domain, recruitment process आप जानते होंगे. So when it comes to recruitment, initially आपको कंपनी की लोकेशन जाके रिक्रूटमेंट करना पड़ता है, राइट? बट ड्यू टू ऑल these things, edtech platforms are the HRs of edtech platforms. They are recruiting online, right? And the topic is how is COVID-19 affected on online education, right? So digital literacy impact increased a lot. Before COVID-19, India was 23% literate, but after COVID-19, we can proudly say that we have 31% literate Indians. So these are all things that you need to mention when the topic comes to during GD. Have you understood, guys? Abhishek, Ayush, Jason, Utkarsh.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. This is from my side, guys, for today itself.